What's going on, everybody? Is the one and only Who Dat Davis here for you. And if you don't know, you will know that over here we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. And thank you for checking out today's video. And if you calm down, you've amped down like I have over night one selection of defensive end Payton Turner out of Houston, then this is the video for you. But before we get down with the breakdown, I want to give a special shout out to everybody who checks out my content on a regular basis. It's because of you guys that we are still on course to hit 1,000 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. Big shout out to Smokeless YT, who joined me tonight for night one. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a little okay once he does his film study like I did a little while ago and a little bit of last night. Now, in terms of Smokeless YT coming back for night two, it is still up in the air. You may just see me. You may see us both again. We don't know yet, as you'll find out when we go live for night two. We're going to be here nights 2 and 3. So that's that on that front. We have officially hit 500 likes and followers on the Facebook page, but I do believe we can go further. If we can get 600 by the end of the year, that'll be absolutely insane. So you guys, please do me a favor. Go give my Facebook page some love and support if you haven't already, or if you know somebody, or whether they're a Saints fan or not, if they want to give some football content on their news feed to get away from the craziness that's going on in the world. Go ahead and direct them to facebook.com/state of black and gold. And I hope they enjoy the content. I'd love feedback from them, seeing what they want to see improved, what they like, what they don't like, things of that nature, especially from you guys. If you guys like my content, great. But I can't improve, but I don't know what I need to improve at. So don't be afraid to hit me up with your criticisms, what's bad, what's good, what could be better, things of that nature. With all that being said, let's officially get down with the breakdown. And we're going to be going over the entirety of the NFL draft before we get into the Saints selection to draft Payton Turner. Now, the NFL draft once again shattered all kinds of mock drafts, including some from yours truly that's been posted on my social media fronts. Some were a little too good to be true. Some were a little more realistic, but either or, the NFL draft as of night one shattered round one predictions. Now, there were a few surprise ones. There were a few surprises in terms of personally who I believed were going to be picked up. And number one is linebacker Jamin Davis. Linebacker Jamin Davis was taken by the Washington football team. The Washington football team picked up Jamin Davis in round one. And it's a surprise because I believe that they were going to go quarterback here. I thought Kellen Mond would have been a good fit for them, but that ended up not being the case. They could have gone wide receiver there also to give Terry McLaurin that his running mate. I believe they could have gone Elijah Moore, who ended up slipping into day two. So you could see him be picked up in the early second round by somebody. Another surprising pick was the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers selected J.C. Horn. That was my pick for the Saints. If he was available, if he slipped into the teams. J.C. Horn is in the NFC South, playing against us twice a year. And it's frustrating for the simple fact that I love J.C. Horn. I love watching his tape. The guy plays physical. He's probably one of the best man coverage corners in this year's draft class. I graded him better to be over Patrick Surtain II. And now he's with the Carolina Panthers, and I know why too. I know why they did it. It's because the Carolina Panthers, I will die on this hill. The Carolina Panthers took J.C. Horn to spite the New Orleans Saints for that drama they had last year over Tommy Stevens. The Saints had no business trying to get Tommy Stevens in the first place. They ultimately they let that man go anyway to the Carolina Panthers. So you wasted a next year's draft pick to go back into the round 7 to get Tommy Stevens. You get into B for the Carolina Panthers, and now you're looking at the top 10 pick, Carolina Panthers, like a guy you probably had on your board. You probably had J.C. Horn, and you only have yourself to blame. The Orleans Saints only have themselves to blame for J.C. Horn. Okay, let's just call it for what it is. They shouldn't have gotten to that beef with Carolina Panthers in the first place. Another surprising pick. I do believe everything else is kind of good fits. I do believe it's kind of good fits for every other team. For the Cowboys took Michael Parsons. The Falcons took Kyle Pitts. We all expect them to take Kyle Pitts. The Dolphins took Jalen Waddle. The Lions took Penei Sewell, which is kind of a surprise for me because I thought they would have found Devontae Smith to replace Kenny Golladay, but I believe they're going to try to address that in night 2, which is at 6 p.m. Just for everybody who doesn't know yet, at 6 p.m. As far as surprises, the Raiders taking Alex Leatherwood. That was a surprise to me as well. In terms of other surprises, not really many other surprises. Christian Darrisaw to the Minnesota Vikings, Najee Harris to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's pretty much the most obvious one for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They needed to shore up their running game. Najee Harris gives you that, and as well as a receiving threat. He's kind of this year's Alvin Kamara. So I hope Najee Harris has success over there. The Ravens took Rashad Bateman. Good on Baltimore. You know what I mean? Because they needed that number one guy for Lamar Jackson to count on when all chips are down. I'm very, very excited for Baltimore going in the right direction. Now, when we get into the New Orleans Saints drafting defensive end Payton Turner from the University of Houston. If you guys were here last night for my initial reaction, you know that I was not that high on him. And that's not to speak directly in detriment to Payton Turner. I have nothing against the guy. The guy is like he's family now. He's part of the Who Dat Nation, so we had to embrace it. We have to show him some love. But I believe there were more needs there. There were still more guys you could have chosen as best player available, such as Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Eric Stokes, who ended up getting taken by the Green Bay Packers. You had Elijah Moore. You had not Rashad Bateman, but you had Dwayne Eskridge, who I believe is a first-round pick, but they could go night 2 in the second round. We don't know yet. You could also there were Azeez Ojulari. You had Gregory Rousseau. You had Joseph Osai. You wanted an edge rusher. You got all these different cats out there that are better than Payton Turner, which initially that's what I thought at the time. But as I sat down in my bed, as I looked over some of his tape before going to sleep, and I woke up this morning, and now I've calmed down from my high. When I look at it from the perspective of Payton Turner and what he can give you, okay, I can't be too mad at the selection, and here's why. When you look at the tape for Payton Turner, here's what we know so far of Payton Turner. The guy he's been compared to be a Cam Jordan 2.0. And I can understand why from a physical measurement standpoint. Okay, he has great length. He has the measurables that the Saints usually go for. Look at Cam Jordan. Look at Marcus Davenport. Look at Noah Spence. Look at Tana Passigno when they signed him from free agency over from Kansas City. He fits the mold they're looking for. And in terms of production, you want to look at what production Payton Turner can give you. He's a versatile guy. He can play all over the defensive line. He can line up on one side. He can line up on the other side. He can also play interior. And I believe that's where you're probably going to see him shine the most. When you look at some of the tape, he's good on the outside. He's definitely able to use that length. He's amassed 12 tackles for loss last year and he mounted 5 sacks in 5 games. So he had one sack per game on average before he went down and missed half the season because of COVID-19 issues. Payton Turner is very productive when he's on the field, but he's yet to have a full season with the University of Houston. And the prior injuries before he had presumably broken fingers was he messed up both of his legs. I don't know too much about that. I have to look more into the injury history as we get into the next upcoming night 2, which is at 6 p.m. We might do a film study. I might find some videos online. We might do a reaction to that, and we'll see what happens. But if you guys want to see some film study, if you guys want to see me get into some film study, let me know in the comment section. I would love to get into it, but that's only if content is suitable for you guys. But that could be a thing we do. Now, for what I've seen, Payton Turner is not a bad pick. It's just like a pick I wouldn't take in the first round. He's definitely a second round. He's definitely a late second or a mid round to third. But some guys have graded him to be in between the Bosa brothers of Nick and Joey Bosa, and that's a surprise. I need to look more into that. But yeah, it remains to be seen. But this is kind of like a low risk, high reward situation where you consider that Payton Turner fell into their lap. He was apparently high on their board. He's probably number one on their board, and the Saints didn't have to give away anything to get this guy. So when you consider that they did kind of learn from the Marcus Davenport fiasco by trading 2 first-rounders to get Payton Turner, which is a good thing. You shouldn't do that. Now for a prototype guy that Sean Payton literally went on record to say. And when you look at the interview for Payton Turner, there's quite a bit there to like about Payton Turner. He is excited. He wants to play football here. He wants to learn from Cameron Jordan. So, and the Saints are really good at developing their defensive line, as you guys have already seen since 2017, especially in 2018 when the defensive line peaked. He strikes me as a guy that I believe can be a productive guy faster than Cameron Jordan was, which took him about 3 to 4 years to be considered one of the best defensive ends in Saints history. I think it's only going to take him maybe 1 or 2 to really see him break out. And it's not that bad. Okay, it's not bad. Now, if I had to give a grade for Payton Turner, I'd give it a C+. Because the upside is there, the potential is there. The injury history is a little concerning. The fact that he hasn't played a full season with Houston is a little concerning. But he was more of a rotational piece. It remains to be seen if that kind of production and technique that he's had if that's really sustainable. Personally speaking, but I don't hate it. Like I said, he's not a first round guy by my estimate, but I don't hate it either. So C+. If he can really develop, then that's fine. And also, when you look at the recent drafts for the New Orleans Saints, day 2/day 3, that's where the Saints really do their due diligence, right? 2017, you had Alvin Kamara, you had Trey Hendrickson. 2018, you had Traquan Smith. 2019, C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Alan 4. This is where these guys get their potential day 1 starters or a guy they put off until next year. Either way, that they be impactful in the not so far distant future. The round 2 and round 3s is going to be really crucial for the Saints. This is where they're going to bring in their meat. This is where they're going to really need to put it all together and in terms of retooling. Who I believe the Saints are going to pick in rounds 2 or 3, I have them going corner and wide receiver. The linebacker spot is a little questionable for me, but I do believe they're going to prioritize corner and night 2. They're probably going to get there's a couple of good names out there still. There's still Benjamin St-Juste. There's still Asante Samuel Jr., which is probably the best available corner so far. You have Tyson Campbell. You have Paulson Adebo, who was considered one of the best. So you have your options. They have some good number two corners out there who I believe the Saints can target. They're probably going to target either Asante Samuel or Paulson Adebo. Paulson Adebo out of Stanford. He's a really good corner. He's a physical guy. He's able to play both man and zone coverage against shifty receivers. Asante Samuel is probably the best overall, but the only thing is his height, but that's not really concerned when you look at what they had in Janoris Jenkins. Asante Samuel can step in and fill in that role really, really well. You've also got, like I said, Ifitu Melifonwu. Ifitu Melifonwu is a 6'2" corner. He's still new to the position playing outside, but his production at Syracuse is nothing to sneeze at. So you have a long guy. You have a guy who's got great length. He's got great athleticism. He can also be physical. Ifitu Melifonwu from Syracuse. You've got a handful of options here. So I do believe they're going to try and prioritize that. And then we go into the wide receivers. You still have Elijah Moore, who I believe is going to be taken off the board before the Saints can potentially trade up if they do decide to trade up. You have Elijah Moore. You have Dwayne Eskridge, who I believe the Saints are going to target because it's reported that they love what they have seen out of Dwayne Eskridge coming out of Western Michigan. And with good reason. Like Dwayne Eskridge is a guy who I believe is the best in terms of playing against press man coverage or getting off the line of scrimmage. He's very shifty. He can get down the field. He can give you that. He can give you that over the middle stuff. He's got great breakaway speed. You've also got Tutu Atwell, who's still on the board. They can also go get Tutu Atwell. He's a very fast second option for receivers to take the top of a defense. I do believe Jameis Winston would really love a guy like Dwayne Eskridge or Tutu Atwell. The one thing about Tutu Atwell is he's not the crispiest route runner. He's definitely fast. He uses that speed to his advantage, but he's not the crispiest route runner I've seen. Nor is he really featured in terms of run blocking, which we all know is a very crucial part for the New Orleans Saints. If you're going to play on this roster, you need to be able to run block. So Tutu Atwell is the biggest question there, but I can also see them retooling the offensive fit what Jameis Winston does, which is he is able to sling it down the field to a wide open receiver. He also throw receivers open. Tutu Atwell, if you're going to use him for that, then I'd be all for it. I'm not going to be mad at that. You've got Marquez Stevenson, who's also from Houston. You've got Jonathan Adams Jr. from Central Arkansas that I've done a video on. He's great in run blocking. He can get down the field. He's a very physical, very tall receiver that doesn't get talked about. He's a good round 3 or maybe even round 4 prospect that the Saints can look at. Maybe even day 3, round 4. But they got their flavors there. So it's really important either way that the Saints hit on night 2. They need round 2 to be a complete success. They need round 2 and 3 to be a success. Whether they go wide receiver or corner wide receiver, they need to hit on those. The reason why I don't believe they're going to go linebacker here is because they still have Quan Alexander out there in the work still. Quan Alexander recently worked out in Saints gear. You guys see me do a video on that already. I still believe that they're going to bring back Quan Alexander because they really like what they had in him when he was paired with Demario Davis. He's rehabbing really well from that post-Achilles injury. He's on pace to be medically clear to be ready by training camp, and that's really, really good. And the guy that that knows the system already since day one, that already beat out Alexander Zaloni, that ran him out of New Orleans, he can give you that. So I don't believe that they're going to go linebacker, but if they do go linebacker, let's look at some guys. You got Jabril Cox, for example, who's had multiple meetings with the Saints. You could still see Jabril Cox come to New Orleans. You also have Cameron McGrone from Michigan. You have Chaz Surratt from North Carolina. You've got who else is on the board? You still have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who I don't believe the Saints are going to look at. Now, I love JOK. I wanted JOK. JOK is a guy that actually fell night 2, which is really surprising for the fact that JOK is a guy that was considered one of the best linebackers in this year's draft. So to fall that far, you got Micah Parsons, you got Jamin Davis over JOK. He's probably going to feel some way about that. But the fact that he's a hybrid guy, a lot of guys just probably don't know what they're going to do with him. When I got that opinion from talking to some guys on Twitter, they probably don't know what they're going to do with a guy like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who can be probably a slot corner or maybe even play a little bit of safety or maybe even play that weak side linebacker. We don't know. A lot of teams probably just don't know, and they don't want to take that chance in terms of round 1. But he's definitely going to go round 2. I do believe he's not going to slip past round 2, and if he does, somebody is doing something wrong. You got JOK, you've got Jabril Cox, which is probably a likely pick. You've got Chaz Surratt. You've got KJ Britt, the the linebacker out of Auburn, who had a great pro day. And we all know how the Saints love their pro days. You've got Pete Warner from Ohio State. You've got Nick Bolton still on the board, one of the tackling machines coming out of Missouri. You got your pick there. Will they go linebacker? I doubt it. Would I be mad about it? Absolutely not. But that's assuming we don't go Quan Alexander. I wouldn't mind if we go Quan Alexander. But in terms of getting back on the main topic in terms of Payton Turner, I hope he balls out. I hope he balls out and proves a lot of people wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he can really refine those talents that I've seen in some of his film study. We're probably gonna do a film study either tomorrow or probably sometime later. We don't know yet. Like I said, I'll leave that for you guys to decide if you guys want to see me do a film study on Payton Turner. But let's read some of these comments here, man. Look, let's get some of these comments. He's okay. Glad to see that you're okay, man. Really, really glad to see that you're all right. I know you were really heated. You were really heated when rightfully so. Like I lost my shit. I nearly broke my headphones. So you're still alive. That's good, man. That's really good. We got round 2 pick 60, round 3 98 and 105. Yeah, those are 3 picks that the Saints can't miss on. They can't miss on those. Now, if they trade anything after 133, I'm fine with. You can get you can trade pick 98 and the rest of your picks from the later rounds to move up after pick 60, which would probably be reasonable. Okay, you're going from 98 to somewhere in the 80 range to get your guy. You've got your later picks that you're probably not going to use. So look for the Saints to trade up from 98 to somewhere in the 80 range to get their guy and get rid of some of their later picks because we all know they're not going to use those. You can also look at 105, which I doubt. I think 105 is probably a good spot for them. 60 from 98 from 60 is a pretty big jump. A lot of talent can go off the board there. So I think that's the sweet spot for the New Orleans Saints to find a trade partner in. There's a still pretty good value in picks 133 on back to move up and get your guy and still have possibly your guy on the board at 105. I think that's a good trade spot for the New Orleans Saints. Let's see. Let's read some more comments here. Jerry Poy says, to be honest, that pick was not too bad. Yeah, look, I still give the grade a C+, man. I still give the grade a C+. He's still not a guy I would have taken in round 1, but I wouldn't have minded in round 2, maybe even round 3. But like I say, it's not too bad of a pick. I like what I've seen so far in terms of film and tape from Payton Turner. If he can maintain that health, with a guy who can give you that kind of run support, it can still get after the pass, and he can also play all over the line. I think Sean Payton can understands that he can play really well on the inside as well as the outside. So it really depends on what they do there, but I can understand that. You've got Cameron Jordan, you've got Marcus Davenport, Tenno Passanio, Carl Granderson, and now you have Payton Turner. I don't believe Tenno Passanio is going to make it to the Saints. When you really look at it, let's look at it like this: Tenno Passanio, not much to speak of, but he's going to be probably going to be a special teams. Let's look at it like this: Tenno Passanio could be special teams. This could be a move that says Tenno Passanio is going to special teams, going to be probably on a field goal unit, probably going to be on the punt return unit or kick return unit. You could see him there. It makes sense when you look at the tape. Most of his special stuff comes from being able to block field goals and block PATs. He's got that size, he's got that length and that vertical jump to be effective in terms of getting field goal blocks. That's where I'm mainly seeing Tenno Passanio at this point. And you can play Payton Turner on the inside. So that's probably the most logical move when I'm thinking about it. When I'm really thinking about it right now. And I wouldn't be mad at that. Pascal is really good on special teams. That's where that's the one thing that's making sense to me right now. So I wouldn't be mad at this move at all if they're going to move Pascal to special teams. That says number one. The only thing I'll say, sometimes that the player you hear the Saints talk about, it's sometimes the ones you don't. Okay, yeah, that's absolutely true. We didn't hear much about Traquan Smith. We didn't hear much about Traquan Smith when he came out of UCF. At least I didn't. You didn't hear much about Ryan Ramczyk. Ryan Ramczyk was a guy that was absolutely torn apart by the Saints fan base. And now he's one of the best right tackles in the NFL. He's probably top 10, if not top 5. It's guys that we always don't hear about that end up being studs. But he's still not a guy we're taking the first round. But I do believe he'll be serviceable. And especially when you're now considering the fact that Tano Pasio could be on special teams. And they could be doing something a little different with the defensive line. Because I do believe that they see Carl Granderson putting in that work. I do believe he's going to be featured more on the edge. You don't want to limit Marcus Davenport if he ends up having a breakout year. Tano Pasio can play inside and outside. And they did a little bit of that when you're looking back at the Chicago game. The Saints went on a road to play Chicago. They did Trey Henderson on the inside, Marcus Davenport on the outside, because Trey Henderson wreaked havoc on the inside. And I think they might be able to repeat that success with a guy that has a little more experience playing all over the defensive line. OJK doesn't fit the typical size. We covered Quan, which is an exception to the rule, but with his small size, he still stays hurt a lot. That's fair. I can understand that. Exception to Quan was just an exception to the rule with small size. He stays hurt. Yeah, that's a. I didn't think about that, but that's fair. We got my boy Smokeless Smoke. How you doing, man? I hope you're feeling better. Hope you slept on it and really looked at the tape. He says, "What's good, bro? Tano can play inside the interior line. I wouldn't really say he's going to be a special teamer. He's on a prove it deal. I wouldn't call it 2-year deal, a prove it deal, but I would really have to look at the details of his contract. But from what I understand, it's a 2-year deal. And when you look at the tape, there's really not much to speak of. Yeah, he can play interior. He can definitely play interior. But I do believe he's primarily going to be featured more on special teams because he really does his damage on special teams. He's blocked a handful of field goals. He's blocked a handful of PATs. And when you look at some of the guys they've lost this offseason that play special teams, Tano Pasio can be plugged in there. But he can definitely play interior. Will he play interior? He can. I think he will. It's possible. TAO and Turner will play all over the line. I do believe Turner will play all over the defensive line. I do believe that. They wouldn't really reach this far to get a guy out of Houston if they weren't going to use him all over the line. That's where I'm at with Payton Turner, and I wouldn't be mad about it. It fills a lot of needs. So let's think about it like this: if Payton Turner plays on the inside, he fills a need. He's got the size of Cam Jordan. He's got the pass rush athletic ability of Sheldon Rankins. He can play the run alongside David Onyemata to rotate with Malcolm Roach and Shai Tuttle. And on the outside, you can rotate in and out with Marcus Davenport and Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson. So you got your cream of the crop right there. I do believe their defensive line is assured up from this point on. I don't think they're going to try to get Aleem McNeil or maybe even Tommy Togiai. I don't think we're going to see the Saints go into defensive linemen for the rest of this draft. I think they got their guy. Smoke says, "I'm not mad at Payton Turner. I'm just mad that we could have gotten him day 2. It should have gotten talent elsewhere." I can agree with that. I will die on the hill when I say that Payton Turner is not a guy I would have taken at 28. I think it's a little bit of a reach. But you consider his injury history, when you consider the fact that he hasn't played a whole season with the University of Houston, I think is a little bit of a reach. But the talent is there, but it is what it is. I have to roll. We have to roll with it. We really have to roll with it at this point. It's going to be a big hit or miss with Payton Turner. Ashley Vitale says, hello, what's going on, Ashley? Good to see you here on the Black and Gold Breakdown podcast. How you doing this morning? How do you feel about the Saints taking Payton Turner at number 28? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you think we're going to see out of Payton Turner? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Slapper Slime 77-7, all the sevens. This draft is so deep, man. We're going to get our guys. I do believe we're going to get our guys. I could agree with that. The Saints normally do their damage in rounds 2 through 4. When you look at the history of the New Orleans Saints, they literally do their damage here from rounds 2 through 4. They get their guys. These are guys that we can really see to be day one impacts, and I'm really excited. This is really where the Saints really had to hit, and I'm very excited to see this. History shows that they get their guys, and they're going to be on the field, whether it be a wide receiver or a corner in the second round, or vice versa, or they go linebacker in the fourth. We don't know yet, but they're going to get their guys. I do believe that, and I'm really, really excited for it. I do believe still they're going to go corner in the second round. I think they're going to get either Asante Samuel or a Posted Adebo out of Stanford. They couldn't even go with Fitu Malifonwu out of Syracuse. I wouldn't be mad at that either. He was on my board, probably as a top three guy. They could go wide receiver. They could get Dwayne Eskridge. They could trade up to get Dwayne Eskridge. If the reports are accurate and they really want Dwayne Eskridge, they really like what they have at Dwayne Eskridge, they could trade up from 98 to somewhere in the 80 range and get their guy, and wait at 105 and see who falls and best player available on their board. In my opinion, the best CBs and DBs that's Richards loves the most are still on the board. Big physical guys. Oh yeah, I forgot Richards is down a new secondary coach. I forgot they signed, and he was responsible. And he had a big project play for the Legion of Boom in Seattle. I forgot about that guy. And we could still get Richard Sherman on top of that. I forgot about Richards. Thank you for that reminder. I appreciate that. Big Smoke says, I'm at least excited with the NASCAR packages by Davenport, Turner, and Cam Jordan. And look, big facts, man. Look, at this point, I'm pretty much going to do a film study either tomorrow or the day after on Payton Turner. I'm probably going to use another streaming software or platform for that, but it's still going to be here on YouTube. And we're going to sit here together for the first time, and we're going to look at Payton Turner and what he's able to do well, what he doesn't do well, what he can be coached up on. I think that's really going to be fun. Brings a little more extra content to the channel. I hope you guys look forward to that. I'll give you guys more updates over on the Facebook page and on Twitter in terms of what the future holds for that. I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. I know we get a lot of callers last night because everybody was kind of a little heated, understandably so, about the picks. But I want you guys to call in on what you guys feel is going to be the move for night 2, rounds 2 and 3, and do you believe the Saints are going to have a hit or miss on Payton Turner? Phone lines are here. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Let's get it popping. But night 2 is the Saints' night. They have to make it their night. The New York Jets won night 1. Okay, the Jets won night 1. They got the guy Zach Wilson, and Robert Saleh is showing that he's not Adam Gase. He's going to protect them with a strong offensive line. He's a defensive-minded coach that's got some that knows how to make an offensive line successful because of his time under Kyle Shanahan. So shout out to New York Jets. They're probably going to be really, really challenging from years past. They're not going to be the same Jets that everybody's been making fun of over the past decade. The Jets are on the move. Zach Wilson is a scary dude. Really, really scary dude. Data Saints number 1 says, if Henderson can ball, I wonder what Payton Turner will do once he catches. What he gets done is already very intelligent. He is really intelligent. That's something you're going to see when we do a film study on Payton Turner. His IQ is really high. When you see him explode off of the ball, he really explodes. And every time he moves with a purpose. He has a plan. Most of the time, he has a plan. He's not going to win every rep, but not every defensive end does. but his IQ is really up there. Either he's gonna beat him off the edge with a swim move, or he's gonna duck underneath, or he's gonna marshal them. He's gonna stack them up. He's gonna shut off a block and make a run and make a play in the run game. But you can also argue the fact that the reason why they went Payton Turner is because Marcus Davenport struggles with setting the edge. Marcus Davenport right now is coming into his 4th year with the Saints, and he still can't stop the run. He still can't be trusted to handle the edge. The most prominent example, look at the Week 15 game against Kansas City. Le'Veon Bell tore Marcus Davenport apart when Cameron Jordan went down, and they ran it at his side. We got our first here, man. We got big smoke going on.
It was good, bro. Yeah, man. I had low key a hard sleep last night, just low key. But I watched the tape, and Payton Turner is solid. If you really look at like the highlight, like he looks like literally identical to Marcus Davenport, nearly identical. You see the size and frame, the way he comes off the edge. You can see he has like a bit of like, he's really violent. Like when I'm telling you, all his sacks, like he either like taking their head off or like, I like that about him. But it's just like, bro, Payton, like you really could have got him. If you really wanted him so bad, you could have got him in the 2nd round. Of course, he's going to fall to you. You could have got like talent elsewhere. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was there, Jason Awa, guys like that. But I'm not mad. It's just like you could have got talent elsewhere. But, Payton Turner, he can be really solid, especially with his defensive line core. I'm pretty excited with that NASCAR package. Like that has some potential, Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, you can add in that NASCAR. Like you can do so much things with Payton Turner. He can play even inside. So that's a little plus, that's a little plus. I'm not completely pissed, but it's just like,
And about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he fell all the way to night 2, which is a really big surprise to a lot of mock drafts.
Yeah.
Nobody had him going past Las Vegas, and I believe that to be pretty reasonable. But for some reason, they went offensive line, which I still don't understand. But they let him fall. I'm surprised that Tampa Bay didn't even pull the trigger on JOK.
Hey, bold take. Expect Nick Bolton to fall to us. Why do I say that? Because Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is probably the best linebacker on the board. Then it's Jabril Cox. Oh, no, you could say Nick Bolton over Jabril Cox, but I would say Nick Bolton will fall because of his size. That's why his draft stock is falling like reasonably, because they say he's undersized for a linebacker. And bro, I do not mind if I say a bold take that Nick Bolton could fall to us. Bold take.
Nick Bolton. I wouldn't be mad at Nick Bolton. He led the SEC.
I'll be excited.
He led the SEC and tackles in 2019. Yeah. He's a tackling machine. He has great gap responsibility. He can shoot the gap. He can play sideline to sideline. I wouldn't be too mad about Nick Bolton, but I really don't see that being the thing if they're really looking at bringing back Quan Alexander and they have Zach Bond. If I'm wrong, if he doesn't end up being the replacement for Craig Robertson, and they do end up featuring him more in the nickel patches to play more of that weak side linebacker,
yeah,
I don't see them going linebacker this year because they have two guys already that go alongside Demario Davis. But I wouldn't be mad if
but behind, like the problem is behind Bond and Demario, like who do you really have? Like
that is true.
It's like what you have, Caden Ellis, who's at this point, he's a special team. He's like a special team player at this point. You know, Andrew Dowell, who we only got to see one game of him. And then you have Chase Hansen, who barely got on the field. They converted him from a safety to a linebacker. So it's just like you need a linebacker in this draft, whether or not that, even if Zach Bond gets his spots, you know, I mean, gets his snaps, you know, but you know, stuff like that.
I definitely would be mad at Nick Bolton. He plays with the same level of physicality in the run game as Demario Davis.
That's why I like him because, you know, we need a guy with that type of physicality in that linebacker core alongside with Demario Davis. And he has solid coverage skills that he can improve on while his time in New Orleans. So it's just like Nick Baldwin be the perfect pick at pick 60 if he falls to you. If not, Jabril Cox is still there. You still got Chad Surratt, pretty much a project at this point, but his coverage skills is like elite as far as a linebacker goes, but you know, he still needs to improve on his tackling. Then you have Dylan Moses, who I'm pretty skeptical. Like his pass coverage skills is pretty raw, but as a run stopper, he's very physical, you know. But it's just you can still get linebackers at this point. It's just like I think the second round should be focused on corner.
Second round, I do believe they're going to go corner. I think they're going to trade up. I think they're going to trade up. They may even do 2 trade ups. I think the most logical trade up would be from 98 and giving up some of your later round picks at the round 5 to move up from 98 to one somewhere in the 80 range to get your linebacker. If the linebacker doesn't end up falling that far.
Like I don't know if this is just me or just I don't like if we chose a let's just say, because I don't really want Dwayne Eskridge at this point. If we like chose like a Jeremiah Owusu-Kamara, I would have been fine with a Dwayne Eskridge or something like that. But I think this second round should be really focused on corner or linebacker. Most likely corner that I want it to be. But, you know, I think wide receiver shouldn't be taken so so early.
Because Anthony Schwartz is falling down the board.
Yeah, Anthony Schwartz, that's the guy at Auburn. Yeah, I really like. I don't think corner should be. I said corner. I don't think wide receiver should be really high on the board because you can still get some wide receivers, pretty solid wide receivers in round 7. So you know, that's just my take on that.
Let's look at the corner board real quick while we're waiting for Jerry Porter. You've got Tyson Campbell. You've got
pretty solid.
Ifeatu Melifonwu. You've got Asante Samuel, the best available corner. My second best here will be Paulson Adebo out of Stanford.
Yeah.
You got Benjamin St. Juice.
He's one of them 6'3" too. Yeah, go ahead.
You've got I forgot that other guy from Appalachian State. Let me look him up real quick. Forgot his name.
Yeah, Sher Williams is still available. You know.
Shamar Jean-Charles. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Shamar Jean-Charles is still there. He's really good.
Izzy Mukuamu is still there. That's like my top corner as far as like later rounds.
Yeah. Mukuamu is still there.
Ambry Thomas, you know, Kerry Vincent Jr. from LSU.
Vincent Jr., yeah.
You know, there's tons of corners still available. I just need me Asante Samuels. Hopefully, it's at this point, it's going to be like, I don't even think he's going to even fall to 60 because there's tons of teams who need cornerback help. I can see Asante Samuels going early second round.
Most likely. But you look at the teams that are still on the board, unless the Saints trade up to get them.
Yeah, unless the Saints trade up to get him, I don't really see Asante Samuels come here.
Okay, last question before I let you go, and Jerry Port's here. Do you believe the Saints are going to make one trade up from 98 to the 80s, or do you see 2 trade ups from the 98 spot and the 60 spot?
Part of me says yes, and part of me says no because I feel like, you know, there's still more holes to fill, so I don't want us to trade up. But at this point where you passed up on the corner and you passed up on the linebacker, I'll say trade up. If the player they want is available, I'll say they will trade up. But like if they're just going with the best available, I say they wouldn't. But I'll see like at least one move in like the later rounds as far as like the 6th rounds or something like that. Yeah.
All right, that's fair. All right, Big Smoke, I'm going to have to let you go. We got my man, Jerry Poole, on the line. I got to holler at you later, man.
All right, bro. Who that, bro?
Hey, one more thing. You still going to be here for night 2, or are you still not sure?
I'm not sure. I'm going to hit you up. I'm going to hit you up on the ground. All
right, cool.
Yeah. All right, bro.
All right, take it easy.
You too.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Big Smoke, Smokeless YT. If you don't know his channel, you're doing yourself a disservice. We got the OG, the one and only Jerry Poore. Been here since day one. What's going on with you, Jerry? How you feeling?
What's going on, Aaron? Who that to you, brother?
Who that, my dude? All right. First thing, man. I gotta get your thoughts on Payton Turner. What do you think? Where you at?
Well, last night, Aaron, I was. You know where I'm going with this, bruh. I really wanted a cornerback or a linebacker. That was our prediction. That was the Saints' prediction to get in the pick number 28 in the 2021 NFL draft. But instead, we got this guy last night, Payton Turner. Now, yes, I ran it last night. I was pissed off, bruh. Seriously. I mean, if you see me on the other channel, shout out to all the other Saints streams. If you see me on the channel, I was angry. I'm talking about the Incredible Hulk anger. I wanted to turn green and smash somebody. But I kind of like the pick last night. I mean, that's what I mean. Even though it wasn't not on the needs list, but at least we got somebody that could play defense because I thought about it. I thought about it, Aaron, and I prayed about it last night and this morning. I said, getting this guy's not too bad because think about it. Because we lost T-Rex, we lost Trey Hendrickson to Cincinnati. We not too long ago lost Shelton Rankins going up to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And by trade, we lost Malcolm Brown to Jacksonville. So pretty much that defensive end we got Thursday night might be the boost that we need. But seriously, I was really wanted a cornerback or a linebacker, but I'll take this guy. I hope he just do something real big with this team.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I hope he can maintain that health because he was really when he was on the field for Houston, he was actually really, really productive. And you're going to see that when we do our first official film study together in the coming days, whether that be tomorrow or the next day. I'll have to look at some of the software, but I hope you're looking forward to that. If you had to choose somebody if you really want in the second round, who would you go for?
Well, like I said in the first round, I hope if Asante Samuel Jr. is still available and nobody take him before we get him, I hope he'll be round 2, pick number 60 in the draft because like you said, we definitely need another cornerback because after what I saw with Marshawn Lattimore and all the trouble he caused, I already know they're going to be looking at some suspensions. Maybe about 2 or 3 games, but I don't know. That's why I was looking at a cornerback last night to fill that gap because ain't no telling how many games that Marshawn Lattimore are going to be suspended after that incident that happened in Ohio. So in round 2, I'm looking at a cornerback, and we got pick number 98 and 105 in round 3 later. Hopefully, the first one, likely a wide receiver or linebacker, and the other one probably either another cornerback or a safety. Either one, it don't matter to me who they get as long as we don't get another offensive lineman. That's my main concern. If they want to get an offensive lineman, they can do that on Saturday. I don't care if it's round 4 or round 6 or round 7. And we got 2 of them in round 7. It don't matter to me. But right now, this evening in day 2, I'm looking at cornerback, linebacker, and wide receiver in rounds 2 and 3. Unless because anything can happen in the draft. But we just saw quite a few trade alerts last night. It could be some more today. Maybe this team might trade their pick to us, or we might trade their pick to them. We don't know what's going to happen, Aaron.
We don't.
But my
That's
main
fact.
concern is I hope we get a linebacker, wide receiver, and a cornerback. That's all. That's my main concern. If we get that, I'll settle down.
Look, I wouldn't be mad if we ended up going corner in the third round, if assuming we trade up from the 98 spot to get them. If you go a wide receiver or linebacker in the 60th pick and you trade up to get your guy who's, if he's still in that 80 range, if you trade up from 98 to get him, I wouldn't be mad at that either. I think that would be a pretty fair scenario, as evident from a couple of comments here. Israel Mukwambu, who played opposite of J.C. Horn, he's actually a really good prospect also. Ifitu Malifonwu could also fall for the fact that he's still new to the position, despite being a 6'2" outside corner that's got some physicality to his name. You've got guys like Paulson Adebo, who I honestly don't think is going to be there. You've got Benjamin St. Juice and Shamar Jean Charles from App State. He's really good, very underrated. He's still there. So you got those three guys that are potentially going to be in that 80s range that you can trade up for if you don't go in the 60th pick. But either way, I do believe we're going to walk away with our next corner for the future before pick 105. Would that be fair for you?
Either way, it maybe unless it get it in the 60th pick or the 98 pick, 105 pick, it don't matter what number. As long as we get a cornerback, no matter what number we land on or by trade alert, I'm cool with that.
All right, last question before I let you go. I gave Payton Turner a C+ grade because of his ability to not be healthy. What grade would you give Payton Turner if you were a scout?
If I was a scout, and if I give my grade to this guy we got last night, Payton Turner, even though I don't know anything about this guy, from your prediction with C+, I'm just gonna probably get. Man, I'm gonna keep it 100. I might give him a C.
Okay,
I'm gonna give him a C. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Okay, that's fair. I can understand that. That's fair.
No, I mean nowhere lower than a D and an F or an I.
That's a fair grade.
If you went to school like I did, you know about these grades from A to I. You already know.
All right, Jerry, as always, we appreciate you calling in, man. Call in anytime we go live.
Anytime, man. And also, man, I know both of us from Gulfport, and even though both of us went to two different high schools, you went to D'Iberville and I went to Harrison Central. So, I mean, much respect to you, bro. Even though we're in the same, hey, respect.
But it's still Gold Warriors, fuck Rebels. I don't go down that hill.
hey, Harrison Central, the original red and black, down here in Gulfport, bro.
That's
you already know. Hey, 2002.
Only red and black I'll tolerate.
Oh Lord, we're gonna talk more on that in the future.
I hope so. In the fall.
We're gonna talk some high school football now. Come on now.
Yeah, we talking.
Absolutely.
What we're not gonna talk about. What we're not gonna talk about is that beatdown that they got the Harris Central got from my boys last year. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. But Jerry, I gotta let you go, Jerry. I'll holler at you later. As always, if you want to hit me up, you know where to find me. I always want to talk shop football with you, no matter what the platform is. I'll holler at you later, bro.
All right, man. Take it easy. Shout out to everybody. Y'all take care.
Jerry Poor, everybody, the OG, the one and only, the original guy to be here from the start when we were doing that SOBG podcast. Shouts out to Jerry Poor, man. He's one of the best out there. You're going to see him everywhere. But that's it for that. That's it, and that's all for right now for today's episode. Like I said, be ready for night 2 of the NFL draft. We'll be going live at 6 p.m. And as always, like I said earlier, be ready to handle our first official film review. I'm not that good at it. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not the best at it. I'm not Deuce. I'm not Maddie. I'm not these guys that are going to be giving you football linguistics from a high tier perspective, but you can expect some opinions, some educated opinions, and as best of a knowledge as I can provide. But I will let you guys know when that happens. Like I said, it's going to be either tomorrow or the next day. If it happens the next day, you will know tomorrow. If it's tomorrow, you will know by sometime later tonight. Hope you guys come back later for night 2. Hope the Saints get it right in rounds 2 and 3. You really get the meat of their draft under the belt. Like I said, the Saints only need less than $2 million for their draft class because they're going to be out of the top 51. But I will holler at you guys later tonight. Until then, we bleed black and gold until we're dead and cold. And one more thing, Payton Turner, welcome to the New Orleans Saints. Welcome to the Who Dat Nation. Understand that we love you. We embrace you. It's not your fault. We don't hate you. We really just scratching our heads right now over the decision, by the front office. It's not nothing against you, especially since the fact that we gave up nothing to get you. We hope you ball out in this defense. We hope you finally give this team the lift that it needs in this retooling process. You know what I mean? But I'll holler at y'all later tonight. Who Dat Davis is out to get some lunch.